The end of every journey isn't always filled with happiness and success. Sometimes the end can be rife with misfortune and sadness. The latter we covered in a video not too long ago. However, these endings contain bits of both, but are much darker and discomforting in nature. These are 10 of the most disturbing fighting game character endings. Similar to the video covering the saddest endings, we'll include endings whether they are canon, semi-canon, or non-canon. Also, we're limiting it to 1 entry per franchise, except for Mortal Kombat. That series had so many disturbing endings that it deserves a list all its own, which I will link in the description below. Now with all that being said, let's begin. Number 10, BB Hood Darkstalkers 3. A family of wolves are watching the news covering a murderous lunatic on the loose that just so happens to be BB Hood. The reporters give details about her appearance and recent trail of murders. The wolf cub is horrified by the news, which prompts the parents to ensure that they are safe. However, unbeknownst to them, BB Hood is right outside their house, watching them through the windows. At one time or another, we've all felt paranoid of the thought that someone may be watching or stalking us when we're all alone. This ending becomes all the more disturbing when you consider the stalker in this scenario. BB Hood has the appearance of innocence, but a malevolent temperament. She's a high-ranking Dark Hunter or Darkstalker hunter. Her heart and soul are so immensely tainted and twisted that she can frighten lower-ranked Darkstalkers with a simple glare. Jeddah Doma even mistook the human Dark Hunter for a Darkstalker. Her hunt for Darkstalkers is fueled by hatred for them and greed, seeing that they are considered valuable in the normal world. Speaking of such a world, while all the above qualities would naturally be attributed to a super powerful, bloodthirsty beast, BB Hood is completely human. The development team themselves admitted that she is meant to exhibit how humanity can be darker and more horrifying than any fictional monster. Number 9, Darkseid, Injustice 2. After defeating Brainiac, Darkseid finishes him off by vaporizing him with his Omega Beams. He then vaporizes Superman as well. He then kidnaps Supergirl, brainwashes her, and makes her his own personal weapon of destruction. Darkseid then forms a new army of parademons cloned from Superman's DNA. While he executes Brainiac with Omega Beams, the manner in which he does it to Superman is arguably more brutal. Not only does he shoot him in the face much longer than Brainiac, but he does this in front of his cousin Supergirl. Wonder Woman is even seen in the back, impaled by her own sword. Supergirl's brainwashing is brought about by torture performed by Darkseid's master torturer Darkseid. With Supergirl and superpowered parademons at his service, Darkseid is more than guaranteed to enforce his will. Number 8, Ancient Ogre, Tekken Tag Tournament 2. Ogre summons 6 copies of himself which descend from the sky. Together, they march all over a city, which they destroy effortlessly. While it's rather simple in terms of the plot, the dark ambient music and shadowy animation and art style makes this ending much more eerie. It's all the more unique as it's the only arcade ending in Tekken Tag 2 with said animation style. Just goes to show you that a fairly simple plot can be enhanced with strong standout visuals. Number 7, Sagat, Street Fighter V. Sagat finds his village has been engulfed in flames. He discovers the perpetrators are 3 masked hoodlums. Enraged, Sagat swiftly attacks the 3 of them with no remorse. Sagat's Street Fighter V story is centered around his grueling internal battle with the Satsui no Hado. Despite it taking a hellish toll on him physically and psychologically, he eventually doesn't give in to it. While it was fortunate that Sagat was able to punish the arsonist, it obviously will not bring back or repair the damage done to his home. The final image of this ending is not only disturbing because Sagat sheds tears of blood, but said tears may indicate that he actually ended up submitting to the Satsui no Hado. Number 6, Carl's Bad Ending, BlazBlue Continuum Shift. Carl confronts Hazuma, who ends up easily defeating him. Afterwards, he bounds Carl to where he is helpless and is forced to watch him slowly destroy Nirvana, the event weapon in which his sister Ada is sealed. Hazuma eventually shatters her to pieces, taunts Carl, throws him against a wall, and kills him. While Nirvana's torture isn't explicitly shown, the combination of Hazuma's sadistic words with Carl's distressed and desperate pleas effectively paint the scene.
Sis! Sis! Sis!
This is fun, right? Yeah, all right. What should I do next? Ooh, that was a good one. Nice and crisp.
Sis! Please! Stop! Stop it!
I'm sorry, what's that? You'll need to speak up. I just can't hear you.
This is made all the more gut-wrenching and saddening with Carl's scream after Hazuma delivers the final blow to his sister.
Sis!
Hazuma doesn't let up one bit, continuously taunting Carl as the boy is unable to do anything except cry until he gets murdered. Number 5. Dizzy's second ending from Guilty Gear Accent Core Plus. Dizzy cries for help as she becomes immobilized and is eventually captured by the scientist known as Crow with assistance from Abba. He then produces several Dizzy clones whom are all shown floating inside of capsules in his laboratory. What makes this ending unsettling is Crow claiming ownership of the beautiful original Dizzy whom he kidnapped. In an incredibly creepy tone, he says that Dizzy is his forever, all while she is unconscious.
しかし、あまり無茶はさせないでいただきたいですね。D シリーズは非常に美しい。あまり傷をつけてほしくないものでね。君もそう思うだろう？オリジナルは誰にも渡さない。君は僕のものだ。永遠に。
It's all the more disturbing when you look at Crow's backstory. He is not just a maniacal scientist, but the division chief of a shadowy society known as the Post-War Administration Bureau. This society is responsible for transforming Testament into a gear, assigning the forbidden beast Eddie to Zato, and most notably creating the weaponized robotic clones of Kai, Dizzy's husband. While this ending is non-canon, one can only wonder what horrific things Crow would do to Dizzy given him and his society's track record. Number 4. Vampire Shion, Melty Blood actress again. Vampire Shion defeats everyone she crosses paths with, including main antagonist, the Dust of Osiris. She is then pictured bathing in massive amounts of blood, completely nude. While the final visual is the core of this ending's disturbing nature, it is also one of the more unique endings in the game, seeing that the big bad does not die. Instead, Vampire Shion absorbs the Dust of Osiris. While a vampire indulging in their pleasure of blood isn't something out of the ordinary, the visual of Vampire Shion's bloodbath can be alluring or eerie depending on your taste. Her pledge to shroud the world in nightmares pushes this ending more towards eerie territory. Number 3. Eliza Skullgirls. Eliza's ending is insane, from her many transgressive acts to the flow of everything after the player defeats Marie. Arguably the most disturbing portion of the ending involves what she does to the main character she defeats. Sarabella dies earlier on in Eliza's story at the hands of Eliza herself. An incapacitated Squiggly ends up entombed in Eliza's home, serving as a crude alarm to alert her when the Skullheart reappears. Philia is horrifically bound, strangled, and then mummified in blood until Eliza finds a more suitable host for her parasite, Samson. Finally, Misfortune is reduced to being Eliza's slave and plaything. This is clearly seen with Eliza playing with the severed head of a very irritated Misfortune. The fact she's immortal due to devouring the life gem makes this fact all the more unsettling. The ending leaves us on a cliffhanger as a monstrous, godlike powered Eliza is set to clash against Bloody Marie yet again. Number 2, Bakuryu and Fox, Bloody Roar. I honestly couldn't bring myself to pick between these two endings, so I decided to include both. I know I'm breaking my own rule, but seriously, I couldn't pick. Comment below and let me know which one you think is more disturbing. Bakuryu's ending reveals that his molecules are unstable, which results in him melting into a puddle on screen. What makes matters even more disconcerting is the apathy shown by the onlooking scientists, allowing him to die with no attempt to save his life. They instead record his death and archive it as data for future experiments. Fox's ending begins with him harassing and attacking a group of people. One woman in the group actually called him by his name. The woman is his mother. Fatally wounded, she dies right in front of Fox. Things get worse as Fox, realizing he had killed his own mother, drove him into insanity. He shed no tears, but loudly laughed into the night. Number 1, Yokai Kusorigido, Samurai Showdown 5. Kusorigido was on the hunt for Rimururu after apparently smelling her. While he fails to capture her during his chase, he ran into another young girl who enabled Rimururu to escape. The girl, obviously aware of his cannibalistic nature, begged and pleaded with him to stop devouring humans. She further reveals herself to be Kusorigido's daughter, Hakana. She promises to cook him delicious meals and desire to go back to living harmoniously like they had before. Unfortunately, his hunger proved to be much more powerful than his love, as he would devour his own daughter. The disturbing scene is made all the more depressing and darker when you realize Hakana was pregnant at the time. That's it for this video. Know of any other disturbing fighting game character endings? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content. Also, one final note before I go, those of you watching who are Gundam fans, check out my buddy Mecha Matt's YouTube channel. He just recently kicked off a series in which he's going to showcase Gundam Battle Operation 2 matches, so those of you who love Gundam, that love that game, do check that out because he's going all in on this. Thanks again for watching, thank you all for supporting, and I'll catch you all next time. See ya.